Hi guys, I'm EVM and welcome back. Now, since the start of this channel, people have been telling me that electric cars are more expensive to insure than their petrol equivalents. And with the imminent arrival of the Tesla Model 3 in the UK, a lot of people have been getting quotes online and coming back saying the same thing. So, are electric cars more expensive to insure just because they are electric? Or is there another reason behind this? I'm going to find out in this video, and I'm also going to look at LV's new electric car insurance and telling you why I think it's nothing more than a marketing ploy, similar to Toyota's self-charging marketing ploy. So let's enter the exciting world of car insurance. Now, I think the first place to start is to get some quotes. I need to find the car that is basically available in petrol and full electric form. And handily, I've recently driven one, the Kia Niro, that is available in petrol and full electric form. So I'm going to go online and get a couple of insurance quotes for those two cars. I have not had this problem in the past 4 and a bit years of owning an electric car. It's not been any more expensive to me to insure them than it has the cars that they replaced. So the petrol one first. £388. That's for a fully loaded petrol Niro. So now I need to do basically the same quote again. So nothing's going to change other than the car itself. This will be the e-Niro, which only comes in one trim level, which is fully loaded. And that comes out at £420. So it's near as damn it about 10% difference. That would suggest that electric cars are indeed more expensive to insure, at least in this case. However, there is a couple of things which I think people are forgetting. I usually get the comment that compared to the car I was going to buy or compared to the car I have, the electric car is more expensive to insure. And that's the key phrase, compared to. These two cars are the same. It's the same car, and it's a Niro, it's literally the same car. But there are two key differences which should make the insurance more expensive. One, the car itself is worth a lot more. Well, let's have a look. The full petrol version, I've got the official price list here, of the Niro is just shy of £28,000. And the full electric e-Niro is, after the government grant of course, just shy of £33,000. So we're looking at a £5,000 difference in the list price. That alone is enough to justify it being slightly more expensive. It's worth a lot more. If that gets stolen or written off, it will cost the insurance a lot more to replace it. So that's one reason there. The other reason is that, again, I need to check this, the fastest petrol version of the Niro has got 140 brake horsepower. The full electric has just over 200 brake horsepower. So it's a lot faster and a lot more expensive. That is the justification for it being more expensive to insure. If you're comparing a full electric e-Niro against a petrol one, they're clearly, even though it's the same physical sort of shape and car, it's not the same, is it? It's a lot faster. I mean, 140 brake to 200, that's a substantial increase. This is what I think a lot of people are getting wrong. They're comparing it against non-comparable cars. It's apples and pears, and it should be comparing apples to apples. Now at this stage, the best thing I think you could do for us is to put in the comments below what price you get. Get a quote for a Niro, the top spec petrol one, and the full electric e-Niro. Do you see a similar sort of price difference? About 10%. I should point out I've done this for quite a lot of cars. Golf, e-Golf, various sort of as close to an identical comparison as I can get. And it's always about the same. I suppose now it's worth me getting a Tesla Model 3 quote to see what that is compared to the full electric e-Niro. Now, what was the e-Niro? It was £420. So let's do the same thing. I'll just change the car and get an M3 quote. Now, if my theory is correct, the M3 should be quite a bit more expensive than the e-Niro because, of course, it's quicker and more expensive than that. So £573. So that's a fairly decent increase on that one. But again, I suppose, let's compare the two cars. One has 200 brake horsepower, one has, this is the standard range one now, I think 350-ish brake horsepower. That's a massive increase. It's not far off twice as powerful. So it's more expensive by £5,000 or £6,000, and it's nearly twice as fast, but it's not twice as expensive to insure. It's about right. I do not mind if I was getting a Model 3, which of course I'm not, so this is just annoying. But I wouldn't mind paying £573 to insure a car which has a list price of over £40,000 in the UK, 350 brake horsepower, and, well, it makes sense. It's logical. Now, it would be interesting for you to get a Tesla Model 3 quote, and put that in the comments. And one last thing, I'm going to get a quote for my current Nissan Leaf. It's a 30 kilowatt hour Acenta 2016. So if it's £420 for the e-Niro, brand new e-Niro, how much would it be for the old 30 kilowatt hour Leaf, which is mid-spec as well? This is again just showing the randomness of insurance. £437. It's £17 more expensive to insure a 3-year-old Nissan Leaf than a brand new e-Niro. I can't imagine the Leaf is more desirable to steal, or that people who drive Nissan Leafs are hooligans. It doesn't make any sense, does it? This is what annoys me about insurers. So now let's get on with looking at LV's electric car insurance. Now this, I'm going to put my cynical hat on, because I got contacted by LV about a month before they launched this, as did quite a few other people as well, saying that we're the first insurers to do an electric car specific policy. Forgetting about Plug Insure, who've done it for a few years. But yes, so they wanted basically me to come along to an event. Quite a few people went along to launch this sort of thing. I fired back a few questions on what I'm going to kind of pick up in the video in a minute. And for some reason, they never invited me to this launch event. I can't think why. Right, now let's have a look at what makes this electric car insurance specific to electric cars. Well, according to their website, you get recovery to the nearest UK charge point. That's if you run out of electricity. If you run out of fuel, they will recover you to your nearest charge point. This will affect your no claims discount, and there's no excess to pay. You also get cover for charging cables, wall boxes, and adapters against accidental damage, fire, and theft. They used to guarantee an electric hire car as part of this, but for some reason they've removed it in the time it's taken me to do the research and actually film this video. So I guess that's not included anymore. So let me go over the things that they say you get with this that they're kind of hinting you don't get with a normal car policy. The recovery to the nearest UK charge point. Now, of course, you don't get this with a normal car insurance policy, but considering it only covers you for running out of fuel effectively, you're going to need normal recovery breakdown cover anyway. If you're driving around in a car that doesn't have recovery, you know, for example, my Nissan Leaf is nearly 3 years old. The recovery that Nissan provide will stop, of course, after that 3 years. I will have to get normal recovery because I don't want to drive around with none. I don't want my wife to go to work at 3 a.m. And have no recovery. You know, tyre blows out, it just stops working, whatever. So you're going to need normal recovery anyway, because this obviously only covers you if you run out of fuel. And that normal recovery would include if you run out of fuel. I've checked this with pretty much every breakdown recovery provider. If you run out of fuel, even in an electric car, they will come and help you out. So what's the point in getting this? Unless you're willing to drive around with no recovery cover at all, which I think is idiotic, certainly today anyway, it's giving you no benefit at all. Absolutely none. If anything, all it is a way to upsell you normal recovery. Of course, if you scroll down the list, it says, "Oh, do you want breakdown cover from £26 a year? You've already got fuel breakdown, why not add it extra?" It's basically a way of upselling you. I can only think of one person who's ever run out of electricity in an EV. It really doesn't happen often enough to worry about it. And you're going to have normal breakdown cover anyway, are you? Let's face it, you have to do. Now let's look at the cover for charging cables, wall boxes and adapters against accidental damage, fire and theft. Well, let's start with the charging cables and adapters. Anything in your car is covered under if you have a typical car insurance policy, it is covered. If you have a laptop, for example, in your boot, someone breaks into the car, steals the laptop, your car insurance would cover that. In fact, we had a car stolen from outside a couple of years ago, just over. And there were things in that car, you know, I got a child car seat, a few other things that were paid out because the car got stolen and they were in the car. Wall boxes. Now this is interesting. Your charger at home is covered against accidental damage, fire and theft. Now of course, if that car damages that wall box in any way, whether you drive into your wall box, the car sets on fire and damages your wall box, or something just happens whilst it's charging and the car damages the wall box, that would be covered under a normal policy anyway. Now you could argue that you get accidental damage, fire and theft independent of the car on your wall box, but if you have a home charger, you have a home, and you have home insurance, which fully covers the wall box. So the only thing this is giving you is a choice between claiming on your home insurance or your car insurance. Now the wall box I have, I can buy for about £150 off the shelf. It's already installed, I just need to swap it round. Most people's excess will be more than £150. So who's going to claim for even a £250 wall box if you've got an excess of 150, 200, 250 pounds? It won't make any sense to do so. And I've checked with many people, theirs is the same. Their home insurance covers all this because it's part of your house. Even if you rent, the charging box, the wall box as they call it, will be covered under the same way as a window. If you accidentally smashed a window in your rented house, that would be covered in the same way as the window would, or the door, or whatever. So again, even though they're giving you something that you don't typically get with the car insurance, it's kind of pointless because it'll be covered under your house insurance. If you don't have house insurance, logically, unless you're an idiot, you don't have a house. And if you don't have a house, you don't have a home charger. So I think this is something they're specifying which will almost never, ever be claimed against. The rest of it is just a typical insurance policy. And let's face it, it's the same underwriter. All they're doing is a Sheila's Wheels. Remember Sheila's Wheels? I don't even know if they're still around. They specialised in insuring women. And Google this if you don't believe me. They actually specified in Sheila's Wheels that they give you extra handbag insurance for if it gets stolen from your car, which would have been covered anyway. All they've done is targeted a specific sector of the market and called it, special. That's it. I mean, think about it. How many people have been driving around with electric cars for the past 10 years or so? Do you really think we've been driving around with no cover for our wall boxes, no cover for our charging cables or anything like that? It's not giving you anything new. And I like this one as well. As part of its commitment to help owners of electric vehicles, LV has also partnered with ZapMap. So they're giving you access to an app that's free, as well as access to a network of specialist electric car repairers. If your car gets damaged and the insurance are paying for it, only approved repairers will be able to work on that. That's the same for any car. There's a couple of unique things, don't get me wrong, like the if you run out of fuel recovery, but you don't need it because you're going to have recovery anyway. Now you might think I'm being picky here. Why am I picking on LV? They're just trying to help the electric car insurer out. Well, the reason why I've decided to mention it in this video, and I was going to do a video about insurance anyway, is because by the time I got the 10th message from someone saying, do you realise LV are doing this? I'm going with them, even though they're more expensive than the cheapest quote I had, because it's EV specific. There are people out there, clearly, I have evidence of this, going with that type of policy because they think they're getting something they don't already have. That is why I am doing this video. It is nothing new. It's a Sheila's Wheels, basically. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go to LV for a quote. Shop around, get a quote for everybody, and go with whoever has the suitable cover for the best price. Now, if you don't believe me, believe LV themselves, because on our way back from Inverness, it's a long journey, we thought, you know what, let's ring them up. We've got a lot of time, let's ask them directly. I can't play it on YouTube because obviously I don't have their permission, but ultimately I said, after discussing it with them for like I said, 25 minutes or so, is this basically giving you nothing I don't already have with the normal LV car insurance policy? And the reply to that was, well, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah, it basically is. They admitted it on the phone. I have it on camera, but I just can't show you it, that it's the same type of thing. Same underwriters, same cover, This is just specifying things that the other didn't specify but ultimately came with. Well, there we go. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching one of the most dullest videos on YouTube, but ultimately it needed to be done. There's too many people out there telling me they're not looking into an electric vehicle because of the insurance costs. Compare apples to apples, guys. There's no point in saying the £40,000 car is more expensive to insure than the £5,000 car. That's kind of obvious. Do you agree with what I said about LVs? Electric car specific insurance. I think it's a load of honk, quite frankly. Again, just like Toyota's self-charging. In fact, think about it. Toyota took a product that has been around for 20 years, a hybrid, and then repackaged it in marketing terms to a self-charging hybrid and told everyone it was brilliant. LV have taken a product that's been around for decades, car insurance, repackaged it and selling it as something unique, which it blatantly isn't, or at least not really. Now, quite frankly, in my opinion, electric cars become the norm when people stop treating them as anything other than just a car. Electric car specific policies just segregate the cars even more than they are now. I suppose the trouble is most electric vehicles come fully spec'd or with loads of toys like autonomous driving. Stick all them toys and autonomous driving on a BMW 3 Series, it'd be as expensive to insure. So anyway, right, thanks for watching, guys, as usual. Normal service will be resumed next week where it's not quite as tedious as this one. So thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.